Welcome, everybody, to race three of the DDIRL Chase for the Championship. We are here at Kansas Motor Speedway, actually, just Kansas Speedway. Sorry, guys. And we have a good one for you guys. Definitely one of my personal favorite tracks, a mile and a half, fast, intense racetrack that always is guaranteed to bring some really, really close action. And to top it off, this is where it all got started. I will let my co-commentators talk a little bit more about that because I have some special guests with me here today. I got Johnny live. He's evolved from Johnny Replay, and he's going to be helping you guys out in the booth today. And I also have the brand new Hilltop Bullet, is I believe his name, and could not be more excited to be bringing this new talent into the booth with me here today. How are you guys doing today?
Oh man,
Oh,
here excited, ready to roll. Seems kind of weird to be on this side instead of being on the replay side, but me and Hilltop Bullet got it from here.
oh yeah,
I
very,
did get it right. I got Hilltop Bullet right. Awesome. How you doing today,
yeah,
Hilltop?
doing good. Very excited. One of my favorite tracks, Kansas. I think there'll be some good action happening tonight. Can't wait to get into it, and can't wait to see where everybody qualifies. But I do have some history of first ever expedition race for DDI Racing League. Zach Panzarella ended up winning that race, and Patrick Cowgill came second. I'd keep an eye on those two. Figured they'd be pretty strong tonight. Dalton Geyer was third, and rounding off your top five will be Mark Zabok and Alex Hillman. So I'd keep an eye on all those guys tonight and see what they can do on the long run and this wonderful night race we're gonna have.
Yeah, coincidentally happens to be the guys who have been the fastest in the chase so far. We can go ahead and take a look at those chase standings whenever we get the chance. But yeah, I mean, not only should we be looking at those guys due to how fast they are, or how fast they've been since day one of this league, but just how close this points lead or how small this points lead has gotten for Panzarella. Came in there with the lead, and it's gotten smaller with those wins from Hillman and Geyer. So who do you have your eye on today, Johnny Live? Beyond, I think, yeah, I guess the obvious ones. Calgill so fast in practice. Here we are qualifying. But anyone else?
I have my eye on Dalton Geyer. Who came last week. We were at New Hampshire, and he just absolutely demolished the whole field, in my opinion. So that's the person I'm keeping my eye on for the chase.
Love it. Well, we're getting our way through qualifying here today. I'm going to be working in the shadows, giving you guys any replays if we need them, if we get that type of action here at Kansas. But I know you guys are going to be amazing. And if you need any horrible advice about how to race, I'll be here. Don't worry.
All right, and as we take over the reins, let's go over the chase standings from last week. We have Zach Panzarella in first, Alex Hillman in second. If I can do my math real quick, it looks like he's about 46 points away. Then Dalton Geyer in third with that amazing win last week. Patrick Cowgill in fourth. Cody Matthews fifth. Danny Sanchez sixth. Seventh, Christopher Cowgill. Eighth, Brandon Lawless. Ninth, Graham Givern. And 10th, Clint Grisby. What about you, Bullet? Who do you have your eye on today?
Uh, some people that have really been really fast in practice was Danny Sanchez. He was looking really good on that long run speed during practice. Yeah, and I have my eye out on Zach Panzarella to see how he can manage that gap for the championship. If I did my math correctly, he could lock out the championship, not next race, but the race after that, with some pretty consistent finishes he's had all chase. Giving a real hard time for any of the guys to catch up with how he's been racing and the consistency he's had all season.
Absolutely. And then we'll go into the best of the rest, which we did not get a chance to go over last week. But we have him up here. 11th, or first place for the best of the rest is Juan Delgado, leading 1 point over Thomas Fox. And I believe since the beginning of this chase, they've just been going back and forth, just one ahead of the other by 1 point. So we'll see how they do today. Mark Zabith in third place, 4 points away from Thomas Fox. And then we have Jonathan Casabir, 30 points away. Colton Easterday, Zach Hillman, Dylan Beckman, Dylan Schmidt, Ryan Newman, and Edward Peltz. What about best of the rest? Who do you have your eye on?
Man, all season, Tommy Fox and Juan Delgado. Tommy Fox has been very consistent. It's been working on that long run speed, and Juan Delgado has improved so much this season with being more of a new driver. I think he has 8 or 9 months on this session,
I believe since
and
March, yeah.
and so the improvement I've seen from him over this season has been amazing. I think starting next season he'll be somebody to look out for, winning some races.
Absolutely. I'm gonna keep my eye on them. Thomas Fox had in a nice way to say it, an unlucky race last week, but he still managed to keep coming up on top of Juan Delgado throughout the whole race, and then right at the last moment, Juan Delgado took the lead over him and was able to get that higher position than him. So we'll see how they race today. See if there's any bad luck on his side. Hopefully not, but that should be an interesting race today.
Another interesting fact about this race will be tire management. During practice, I've noticed that one lap makes a huge difference on speed over that long run. Having that one extra lap to be able to get in front of people a little quicker. And being a night race, all it's going to do is cool off. So I expect some pretty fast times, maybe faster than our top qualifying spot for the fastest lap of the race tonight.
100% agree with you there. Another thing too, is it just me, or do you feel like Kansas feels a lot like Kentucky?
A little bit. One of my favorite places to kind of example this too. Unfortunately, it's not a racetrack anymore, but kind of auto club feeling. Yes, it's a half mile shorter, but it's kind of feels the same, kind of super speedway, kind of not at the same time. You can very much drive Kansas like a super speedway, but that tire wear. During practice, I saw some people what looked like full throttle the whole time, but about 10 laps in, you start getting super loose and you just drop off a cliff. And let's see how people manage that tonight with pushing early or sitting back and letting their tires kind of just wait it out to the end of the stint.
All right, and it looks like qualifying, I believe everybody has qualified. So let's check out those results right there. If it'll show, give me 1 second, folks.
I'll have to wait for the completion of it to have those results as well, even if everyone's gone.
Okay, so we have just a couple
Probably have
seconds.
another minute or two.
Yeah,
Looks like just a couple more minutes.
about a minute or two. Yeah, so let's actually pull up the practice if we can pull that one up, but we cannot pull that one up.
Yeah, I've never even tried to do that. Look at you. But yeah, I mean, so who stuck out to me in practice? Danny Sanchez was lights out fast. Ibarra as well. And yeah, we talked a little bit about Calgill to start this broadcast, but those guys showing crazy, crazy speed. Going to be interesting to see if they carried over qualifying.
I'm interested to see what Calgill does. He was fast a couple weeks ago at Watkins Glen. I believe he is one of those drivers that has been super consistent over the season. I think he has second. I think he's tied right now for top tens. So interested to see if he can put a race together tonight and be able to get his, I believe, first win of the league.
Give me 1 second here, folks. I'm trying to. Looks like qualifying did end now.
Yes, it did. Look at that. Yeah, that's real quick.
All right, so there you go.
There
So
it is.
little technical difficulties there, but let me show you guys the qualifying right there. So in first place we have Patrick Calgill. Second place Zach Panzarella. Third place Dalton Geyer. Fourth place Brandon Ibarra. Fifth place Juan Delgado, which I did mention earlier. Is, between him and Tommy Fox is going to be an interesting battle today. Sixth Chris Calgill and seventh Tommy Fox. Are you able to see those results? Bullets.
Yes.
All right.
And eighth place, we have Brandon Lewis. Ninth place, Danny Sanchez. Rounding off your top 10 is Cody Matthews. 11th place, Alex Hillman. 12th place, Graham McGivern. 13th place, Jordan Finnegan. And 14th, Glenn Grisby.
Oh, this is gonna be an interesting one with having Calgo and Panzarella, both of them on the first line.
Oh yes, they have been battling all season back and forth. Panzarella has basically been the victor of all those battles at the end of races, but has always been a good battle between them two all season long. Be interesting to see how Panzarella does on that outside when we come to the green flag.
So I've been hearing a lot of chatter during practice that a lot of people were saying that the best line to run at the beginning was being down on the inside. Do you think Zach Panzarella might be sweating it a little bit since he is on the outside right now?
I don't know. I've seen Panzarella do some crazy things on the outside at some tracks and be able to pull off miracles on restarts. With even though the outside being slower, still manage to pull out and stay even with the leader. Especially with it being this nice, cool track, with it being nighttime. Be interesting to see what Panzarella could do on the outside with his teammate on the inside on the second row.
As the pace car
So here we come.
off.
Here we come coming to green. The green flag has dropped.
And so far, pretty nice and even. Patrick Calgill did get the jump on Panzarella. Dalton Geyer right behind Calgill. Then right behind Panzarella, Ibarra and Delgado. Fox right after them in 6th place. Calgill, Sanchez, Lolis as we keep double.
Yeah, double wide, basically all the way back through the pack. Looking almost 3 wide further back in the pack. And looks like we're going 2 wide, going into 1 in the lead.
Ooh, almost 3 wide right there with with Zach Panzarella, Ibarra, and Delgado. Delgado keeping it nice and sticky through the bottom line. And he's staying down the middle.
Dalton Geyer on the inside for the lead. Let's see if he can make that stick. Ooh, Patrick looks like did not get a good run on the top there, and Panzarella and Geyer are going to slide up there kind of to block that off. But we are 3 wide going into 1. Oh, goes back 2 wide.
Oh, yeah, it would be a tricky situation to be in.
See if Delgado can hold that outside and stay in. Oh, and like Ibarra got it done. But we are kind of getting single filed. Oh, Panzarella goes inside for the lead. Let's see if he can make a stick. Looks like he's going to, with the help with Ibarra and Juan pushing him with the draft. And it looks like Panzarella did get that lap lead.
Such a...
Dalton Geyer's holding that outside pretty well, but Panzarella looks like he's about to pull away from Dalton Geyer and Delgado with Ibarra pushing him.
Just keeping it nice and planted. Looks like there's barely any movement between him staying in the lane. Just has that thing glued to the track.
Oh yes, Panzarella has always been good at 1, saving tires, and then 2, kind of managing that lead to where he still has tires for in the stint and can keep the lead when somebody pushes real hard. But it looks like we're pretty single file all the way front to back right now.
Yeah, as we check some of these guys out. We have Hillman on screen right now. Be right behind him, Danny Sanchez, Graham McGivern. Yeah, everybody seems to be just following the line pretty much. There's
Hillman and Sanchez have made some moves. They both started, I believe, in 10th and 11th. So they're kind of making a quick charge up the field. With them looking like they're going 2 wide, 2 wide into 3. With Graham McGivern behind them. See if Sanchez can make this stick. Oh, it looks like Hillman got a good run on the exit.
Ooh, but Sanchez did end up overtaking him.
Yes. We are 2 wide for the lead, though, at the moment.
2 wide in the front, and then right behind them also Dalton Geyer and Juan Delgado almost.
Patrick Calgill looks to be falling off just a hair. See if that's saving tires or
yeah, it looks like
what's up with that later in the race.
Looks like he's dropped back 5 spots.
Are we 3 wide in the back there? I think I saw. Maybe not. Oh, maybe.
Yeah, Alex Holman, Grant McGivern, and Cody Matthews. Yeah, just following that bottom line and just being able to overtake everybody.
One thing I noticed in practice, that bottom line is a lot quicker at the start of a run, and it kind of starts moving its way to the top once the tires wear off a little bit. But if you protect them well enough, the bottom stayed pretty good the whole time. It's just if you kind of overheat your tires, that top was very good to cool them off and keep them going. And here goes Graham on the inside of Cody Matthews. Looks like they're going to stay side by side, exiting the corner. See if Graham can get past him over using the apron here. Matthews did get a good run out of 4. Still side by side going into 1.
Yeah, from what I was hearing, a lot of people were talking about they felt like their tires were falling out by like the 10th lap. So you think with how Patrick Calgo's gone 5 spots back, you think this is a kind of a risky move for him to let people pass him by while he tries to save tires and then try to overtake him at the end, assuming there's no cautions? Or should he also be on attack like everybody else?
I think he might have been able to push a little more on that first bit of stint, just because once those tires start to go, it's pretty hard to pass without risking a wreck. So it's one of those that it's better to get your passes done when you still have some tire left, instead of waiting to the end and then you're kind of more on that knife edge of floating up or somebody floating up into you, and then next thing you know you're in a wall and can get past. But we are going 2 wide again into 1 for the lead.
Yeah, it looks like Zach and Zach Panzarella and Brandon Ibarra have just been going back and forth, swapping first place. And we look now, and yeah, they're side by side. Neither one of them is letting off. Neither one is going to let the other pass easily. Then you have Juan Delgado in 3rd, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is the highest he's ran this during this league, right?
I believe so. One thing I am interested to see is all these guys run the high line. What are their tires going to look like in the stint? Because I know you can do about 35 laps before you have to pit for fuel. So I'm interested to see what we're going to be looking at for tire wear and how much it's going to drop off around 30 or so laps. See if it was worth running that top the whole time, or is it going to be beneficial for the guys running the bottom the whole time, saving a little bit more of tire.
Yeah, because it looks like these guys have been just battling since the beginning, especially with Ibarra and Panzarella just going back and forth, and then these guys staying right behind them. And look, there's Juan Delgado and Tommy Fox, both of the guys that are currently top of the best of the rest, just with just 1 point difference.
That's going to be an interesting battle. Who stays in front here? Now, an interesting thing further back in the field, about 6th place, is you got a group of cars that were battling that kind of backed the pack up a little bit. But then you got Patrick Calgill falling off a little more with, looks like, 5 cars that have caught him rapidly. So let's see what Patrick Calgill could do here to defend the spot for 5th place.
Now, is he running? Yeah, it looks like he's running the high line still, too. And Alex Hillman completes the pass, or looks like he's going to complete the pass on him. And he's just, excuse me, sorry, I had a little brain fart there. Yeah, just keeping the high line the whole way around. I mean, he sees it slower, but it could be that tire saving strategy, because we are halfway there to when these guys should be pitting for fuel and tires as well. Is he going to be able to gun these guys afterwards, or at this point, he's just going to keep letting it fall off?
This is surprising to me, guys. Like, I did not expect this from Patrick. Lights out in practice, fastest qualifying lap, a couple thousandths over Panzarella there. And then, yeah, pretty much immediately falls off. And what's surprising me the most is how married to the top he is. I guess now's the time to try this, since you can kind of, I guess, recover from it or learn now. But this whole run overall for that 31 has been very surprising to me. And not to mention, at the end of lap 60, we're going to have some stage points paying out of the top 7. So that's important right now for one of our championship contenders.
It's disappointing with him, I believe, saying a third, or fourth place, I think, after last week, with Dalton Geyer getting that win and getting a huge point boost with that win last week. I think that bumped him up to third place. One thing I know from my experience of racing this track before, run that top line. If you can get the run and they can't get in front, the guys on the bottom can't kind of pull a slide job on you and get in front of you, that top line will work with the defense. You just cannot get a bad run out of the top and let that bottom guy get in front of you and dictate how fast you're coming out of the corner, which looks like Hillman's going to do here. Blocked off Cowgill, and Hillman pulls off the pass. And here comes Cody Matthews trying to do the same thing. See if he can get it done on this lap.
Yeah, and then,
but we are still too wide in front of them. Delgado and Fox still battling out for that best of the rest championship.
Yeah, since the top 7 will be getting the points today, and it looks like they're both in 5th and 4th, trying to get the one up on each other. And then, no, I'm not sure if you noticed there earlier, Graham McGivern had tapped the wall a little bit. Looks like maybe these tires are starting to get these guys to slide up a little bit more now. And they're really trying to think of a strategy now of when they should pit. Should they go? We have 120 laps. You can pit around lap 30. I believe if I heard correctly, the fuel size is 35 laps. Do they want to risk it with those extra 5 laps and have somebody with fresher tires be able to pass them, or do they want to go right at 30, get those new tires, and just go?
So the biggest thing I'm looking at here is they're running around 31-second lap times right now, and with fresh tires, you can do. Our whole lap was believe a 30.3. So that's if you're saving a little bit, I mean, you still be probably a second faster than with those fresh tires. So that'd be 5 seconds over a span. So if you want to undercut it or try the overcut, to try to get that tire advantage coming out of the pits, trying to catch back up, because you're going to go about a lap, probably about a lap and a half, I believe, down, going pit lanes and taking 4, which should be everybody at this point of the race coming to it. But it looks like the only place we're still too wide is with Danny Sanchez and Juan Delgado, which he's fallen off a little bit. Wondering if those tires are getting a little overheated with running that top line defending against Tommy Fox all that time.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt that he's pushing it as hard as he can just to try to keep the one up on him. But if you don't think ahead, you know, those consequences start falling pretty rapidly. It looks like he went down 5 spots, I believe.
I believe so. One thing I've been very impressed with is the patience from Cody Matthews. He has been behind that 08 for a very decent amount of time now, and he has not sent it 3 wide. He's had multiple to on the 08 and whoever he's taking on the inside. Very good discipline there to not risk it on lap 24 of 120.
And then one thing I kept hearing too is dirty air has been a big issue for these guys, especially coming out of these corners and in those 3 wide situations. That they're coming out and they're coming up onto the wall, losing their run, and just, I mean, that could also be a possibility at what happened with Delgado, where just completely almost bottomed him out.
Yeah, the dirty air is pretty bad here, especially with the new update. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think more people hate it now because they're so used to the last aero package that the trucks had. But I think it makes it for much more interesting racing, where you can't just get right on the bumper, somebody dump the air off their spoiler. You actually have to focus and try to get to the bumper and keep your front tires just from sliding all the way through the corner, because that will ruin that right front tire on tracks like this.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of one single person who's liked this update since.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm not against it. I think it makes for some better racing. I see here, Hellman has made
I
a
hate it.
huge charge from 11th, starting 11th place, trying to get past Dalton Geyer now. So they are part of the same racing team, but not teams inside of the league. Both part of DDI Racing, but different teams inside of the league. With Matthew still being patient, just waiting for his opportunity to strike. You got, I believe, Danny Sanchez back there switching between lines also. Trying to find a way around Tommy Fox.
Speaking of teams, yeah, we have both DDI teams. So we have the DDI Forever, which has been leading the points in this series, and which are made of Zach Panzarella, Dalton Geyer, Juan Delgado, and Graham McGivern, which are all here today. And then we have DDI Forever, 44 Ever, excuse me, which only has one guy who's been coming out, and that's Hillman, and he's been a guy who's been getting a lot of points for them.
Oh, and Dalton Geyer hits the wall there. Let's see if that has any consequences, because Brandon Lowell right behind him. Lowell looks like he's going to try to take the inside here. See if he can get a run here. Side by side now. You get a good enough run to stay side by side into one. It's got to be close. And it looks like he is side by side one. But if we take a look back at the front of the field, Panzarella Panzarella, it looks like he is just the class of the field at this track. I mean, he's got a pretty decent sized lead now. Yeah, and doesn't look to be really shrinking in the past couple of laps as we hit lap 30, which we'll see what the pit cycles do coming up here shortly. It looks like we do have a couple going in the pits now, trying to pull that undercut.
Let's see who that is. That is Tommy Fox and Dalton Geyer.
So let's see where they come out at and see how it looks with everybody else going at least one lap more on these old tires. See what they can do with that. Could be potentially only one hop lap, trying to get those tires warm. It looks like Panzarella's in the pits now. And Ybarra takes the lead of the race.
Oh, yeah, it looks like a bunch of people are getting into the pits now. We have Zach Panzarella, Alex Hillman, Patrick Cowgill, Graham McGivern, and then Dalton Geyer looks like he just came out along with Tommy Fox.
It looks like Panzarella didn't have a great entry. He was about probably 4 seconds in front of Hillman, and going in the pits right there, Hillman was on his bumper.
Let's see here. Yeah, I'm looking at times. Dalton Geyer and Tommy Fox came out with 15 seconds. And Alex Hillman is close.
It looks like Panzarella had a little bit better of a jump out of his box than Hillman did. But let's see where Panzarella comes out on Geyer here. It's going to be a close drag race to turn 3. It looks like Panzarella is going to keep. Oh, see if he can hold it through 3 and 4. It does look like Dalton Geyer is going to pass Panzarella with the undercut, but let's see how that one lap difference is. It looked like in practice that did play a huge dividend.
Cowgill is back in the pits, guys. Patrick Cowgill, I should say. I did see a weird exit. I think that may have been an unsafe pit exit from Patrick Cowgill, and I think this is going to be a drive-through, if not a hold. I think it's a drive-through, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see here. He's that last pit box, and doesn't look like he's going to be taking a hard left here. Yeah, so a drive-through penalty for Patrick Cowgill. Not great day, getting worse right there.
That is a very unfortunate thing for Patrick Cowgill, saying with really the only person somewhat close to Panzarella for the championship was the 08 of Hillman. Patrick was pretty close. It's pretty close between Hillman, Geyer, and Patrick Cowgill. That is not going to help his point standings in the championship unless we get a few cautions in this race to get him back on the lead lap.
Yeah, it looks like currently Cowgill Of course, once the pit cycle goes through, it'll go to 1 lap. But he's currently the only one 2 laps down, and we still have Cody Matthews out
Well,
on the track.
looks. Yes, Cody Matthews is getting those couple laps led, which is a great bonus point for the chase. Which is Matthews in the chase, or is he best of the rest? I can't remember off the top of my head.
He's in the chase. He's sitting in like 5th or 6th right now.
Well, that will be 1 extra bonus point for him for today's race for leading a lap. But let's see where he ends up cycling through once he does decide to pit. And it looks like Christopher Calgill and Grisby are now in the pits. And it looks like Matthews who now is not going to pull it down in the pits. And there goes Zach Panzarella and Dalton Geyer flying around turn 4 side by side.
Yeah, such an intense race between 2 teammates right now. You know, you got to be wondering, are they communicating with each other right now? Are they trying to, not mess with each other so that way they could get the biggest lead that they can against would be Brandon Lolis that be in 3rd?
This battle is not going to help them because it looks like those guys behind are single file, just focusing on trying to catch back up to those 2 who are, I believe, cycles to the lead with what's like a 1.1 second lead over that next pack of drivers.
Yeah, right at the 1 second mark.
Which they're still side by side. If I was Guy or Panzarella, I'd say let's go back single file and try to get a little bit more of a lead, give you a cushion to be able to battle like this. But battling like this is going to cost you dearly trying to keep that gap, as it looks like they are catching rapidly.
Yeah, it looks
with
like
Sanchez pushing Ybarra. Or
like
my bad, Ybarra pushing Lolis.
Yeah, it looks like a 2 second or 2/10. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. 2/10. They're gaining on them with every lap. We're down to 6/10 behind them.
I can tell you this: Dalton Geyer's last lap is about 4/10 slower than Lolis and Ybarra. So that would be interesting if they end up going single file and see if they can try to pull back away. But I don't know what Geyer's tires are going to look like with this battling. It kind of looks like he's fallen off just a hair to Zach Panzarella, who does have that 1 lap difference in tires, which I said earlier, that can play a pretty big difference here at Kansas. But it looks like it is now a 4-car battle for the lead. And those 2 guys that are 3rd and 4th have looked strong all day. We'll see what they can do here. And I believe they pitted a lap or 2 after Panzarella did. So let's see if that tire difference does play an effect here.
Oh yeah, let's look more down the field. We have Tommy Fox, who's in 6th place right now. For once we come around for the stage points, it's going to be a huge advantage for him, as Juan Delgado's in 8th place, right behind Danny Sanchez, right out of the eligibility. Man, words are hard. For those stage points.
Yes, but the only benefit Delgado has right now, he does have about 18 laps to get around Sanchez to limit that damage with that points difference that Fox is going to have, which is going to play a big dividend here for the best of the rest championship. With Zach Panzarella still leading, looks like he's holding on to this lead pretty well against Dalton Geyer. And that gap looks about the same for Lolis to Geyer right now. But it does look like he's closing up pretty quick on those straightaways. Let's see what that dirty air does to him going through the corners.
I'm looking at my
which
data
looks like
here.
it hurt.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the data here, and it looks like for the last laps, they all ran pretty similar times with Zach Panzarella at 31.06, Dalton Geyer 31.09, Lolis 31.06, and Ybarra at 31.10. So they're all really pretty much running almost close times right now.
And I think part of that is that Dalton Geyer filed in behind Panzarella, and they kind of just started running laps, trying to. My guess would be their teammates. So I'm sure they have comms. Oh, and Dalton Geyer hits the wall there. Looks like Lolis is trying to take it on the outside. Oh, might pull the switch back here. Dalton Guyer looks like, oh, it looks like Ybarra did get, looks like a better run out of 4. Or Lois, my bad. And Ybarra looked almost like he was going to send it 3 wide there. He is going to look like he might get the, Lois does get the pass down on Dalton Guyer there.
Oh, as he hits the wall again.
Hits the wall again. Let's see how he sucks up to Panzarella here and see what he can do. And we'll see how Panzarella can defend on that 1 lap older tire with that battling that went on. And they were not battling. That's the first battle they've had since the pit cycle. So they might have a slight tire advantage coming up to Zach Panzarella.
Yeah, as Dalton decides that he's sticking to the high line at this point.
It does look like Ybarra does get that pass made on Dalton Guyer sticking to the high line. Now, what will be interesting is the 08 of Hillman has been kind of stuck behind the pack, but with this battle, is that going to be able to pull him in and be able to battle for some extra positions for the stage? But with that, with them all running about the same lap time, I think part of that is that dirty air. It makes it really hard if that car in front of you to run that low line, with them. You kind of, the wheel gets loose. You're having to put more throttle and more steering input into it, which can hurt your tires. But it looks like Ybarra's holding that inside right behind Lola pretty well. Be interested to see if we can get a on board with Ybarra there to see what his wheel's doing. See how much he's having to input.
Let's see if he'll let us into the cockpit. Or... Oh, can't see much there.
Oh, no wheel for Ybarra. Everyone has different settings. That's interesting. Doesn't want to give away his secrets, does he?
His chase.
But yeah, he is showing tons of long run speed. And definitely what I'm seeing as well, guys, is that backpack team working really well together compared to DDI. I think we are also, since that update, we're seeing kind of that evening out point sometimes in these runs. Maybe that's why we saw Guyer and Panzarella battling so hard, trying to use their stuff while they had it. And now Panzarella just has to hope that they're at the evening out point to where he can hold off Lolis and his teammate that's Ybarra behind him. I'm sorry. And yeah, it's going to be definitely really interesting from this point on. Only about 11 to go in the stage here. And it's really, I think, going to be an air game for that 12 from this point on. Going to have to use that air to his advantage because those 1 lap older tires could be a big deal. Towards the end of that run, guys, those guys that stayed out, Cody Matthews and whatnot, the delta was up to over 2 seconds on new tires versus old tires.
That is very true. But one thing I am looking at is if you look at Ybarra's line, he is getting that left side arrow just a little low consistently than Lois is, and I think that is helping with that dirty air, just having a little bit of clean air go on that front spoiler.
Yeah, let's check that
now
out.
Looking through the field here, looks like Dalton Guyer has fallen off a little bit and is letting the 08 of Hillman catch up to him. Let's see if Dalton Guyer can do some damage limitations here, since he was running in second at the start of this tire stint. With Lois going for a pass on the inside of Panzarella. Looks like they're staying pretty even through the front stretch.
But with this deep of a run, you think that Zach Panzarella has the advantage staying to the high line? Because I did hear a lot of people mentioning that the high line was a better line to run after your tires started feeling like they were going to fall out.
I think it really just depends on how well Lois and Ybarra actually saved their tires on the laps they were trying to catch up with. And it looks like Lois is able to stick it to that bottom pretty well. So as long as Panzarella does not make a mistake on the top, which Panzarella is now defending the low line, trying to get that dirty air. Like YZ said, trying to defend with that dirty air through the corners, trying to keep it from getting those runs. Which here would be interesting to see. We're 23 laps in now. I believe Panzarella did pit on lap 30, so we'll be interested to see if he does another kind of short stint once we get to the stage. and
Yeah.
try to get some new fresh rubber on that truck that looks like it is struggling just a hair through the corners, with Lois staying pretty close to his bumper.
Yeah, it looks like based on my data here, the last person, yeah, Cody Matthews with having pit in lap 37. And right in front of him is Graham McGivern, so he still has a pretty big gap to get to that 9th spot. And then we have Juan Delgado in 8th and Tommy Fox in 7th, which was one of they're just one spot away from getting those stage points. So we'll see if he can do it in these 5 laps.
Now, interesting about what I'm looking at is Danny Sanchez has pulled in the 08 of Hillman and Dalton Geyer over this run. So it'd be interesting to see who can get those precious stage points, which is a big deal for in the race and the chase, which I believe everybody but Ybarra that is in the top.
Yeah, Barra's the one that's not in the chase, and then Tommy Fox is the one that's in the best of the rest. So everybody else here is looking to get those extra points from the stage.
Which looks like their whole field's kind of gone single file here, which you do have Patrick Gowgill kind of being a lap down, but being a little bit of a nuisance to Ybarra there. Looks like he's trying to take the outside. Which it looks like he might, nope, couldn't get to the inside. But what has amazed me is Panzarella has had a controlling lead of this race ever since the start. He has managed the tires perfectly so far in this race. Be interesting to see how the rest of the race goes for him, if he's able to still manage those tires as well. With it getting cooler, and the cooler it gets, the more you want to push, because you're feeling, when you get out on the track, you're just feeling more grip and more grip, feeling that you can just hold the throttle a little longer than you should.
Yeah, it looks like from what we saw right now, Lolis came up to close to the wall, but Panzarella was able to just keep it down nice and tight. And everybody behind him is running the high line. You have Lolis, Ibarra, and Geyer, which are all top 4, and they're all running the top line except for Panzarella.
Oh, and there goes Panzarella running the top line at that point there.
As he made me a liar. But with being able to switch those lines and keep Lolis right behind him.
There goes Patrick Cowgill into the pits. Early pit stop, it looks like, for Patrick Cowgill.
Yeah, as we're coming up to the final lap for these stage points.
Interesting battle for that would be Dalton Geyer, Hillman, and Sanchez. They're all neck and neck. See if Hillman can get a pass or Sanchez can get a run off of the last corner to hear the end of the stage. Looks like Dalton Geyer is going to keep 4th place. And your last stage points are going to be Tommy Fox, it looks like. So Delgado was not able to catch up to Fox.
So we have our top 7 there of Zach Panzarella, Brandon Lolis, Brandon Ibarra, Dalton Geyer, Danny Sanchez, Alex Hillman, and Tommy Fox.
And it looks like Panzarella is in the pits here. Lolis and Ybarra stayed out.
Yeah, Panzarella, Hillman. Looks like Juan Delgado's bringing it in too. And Jordan Finnegan was the one that started the line.
So it'd be interesting to see how long Lolis and Ybarra and Sanchez keep it out. I know Lolis and Ybarra have been working really well together all race.
Ooh. Panzarella misses his box there, guys. Slightly misses his box. Had to reverse just slightly. Now it's going to be really interesting to see how this cycles around. If that was enough of a slip up, Panzarella will have that slight advantage with pitting a lap earlier. Because it looks like, I think the backpack teammates are coming in right now.
Yes, they are. Let's see where Panzarella can get with that slight mistake into the pits. So it looks like Patrick Cowgill just put a pass on Cody Matthews, which Patrick should have fresh tires, and I believe Matthews is still on about 30 lap tires. I believe he had it on lap 34, 35.
Yeah, lap 37 was when Matthews last pitted, and he's keeping it out there.
And here comes Lois and Ybarra out of the pits. So here Panzarella ends up. Be a drag race to turn 3. Looks like Panzarella is going to be probably about a second or 2 behind Lois and Ybarra. So that mistake looked to be a little costly for Panzarella coming through the pit cycle.
Yes, we still have Tommy Fox out in the track with Grant McGivern and Cody Matthews. And
I'm interested to see Fox still out there with Delgado going in the pits. See if Tommy Fox is able to manage those tires to keep the pace up. Oh, and here comes Fox into the pits now. Let's see if Delgado can get that pass done with the undercut.
As we have him here coming out of turn 2, I believe, right? Yeah. No, 4.
Or 4.
You know, turns look the same when you're not seeing which one you're looking at.
That they
They
do.
really do. I make that mistake all the time. One thing I think that I'm noticing a little bit too that Bullet pointed out earlier in the race is Panzarella not getting into the pits. All these been green flags so far, as fast as opponents did. Hillman made up a couple seconds on entry there. That, as well as, I mean, missing your box isn't going to do you any favors. But it seems like those backpack guys, in terms of, I wish we had data on this because we really only have the data on how long they spend in pit lane. But I wish we had the data on the entire time slowing down and speeding up, because it seems like they're doing something on entry that is really working for them, because they have gotten a lion's share of positions pretty much every time we've done these green flag pit stops here. So I'm sure they're hoping for this race to stay green.
Not only that, with these pit stops, they have pulled away from Panzarella and the rest of the field.
Their short
Now,
run speed is something else.
And we'll see how they manage the tires, see if they can keep that gap, and we'll see how Panzarella managed his tires, see if he can get them on the long run here. As they come up on Patrick Cowgill, let's see if Cowgill gets out of the way here. He still is, I believe, a lap down. Yes, he is one lap down. Let's see what he does here.
Yeah, we'll see if he fights him this time. Didn't give him an easy time the first time around. Cowgill, I'm sure, not in a amazing mood right now. And oh boy, there's the squeeze.
Oh yeah, Patrick Cowgill, probably one of the better drivers of putting the squeeze on. I have seen him make some amazing passes on the outside of just doing that exactly. Squeeze them, getting that air off their spoiler, slowing them down a little bit, and be able to complete that pass on the outside, which is most tracks, that is pretty rare to see, being able to do passes on the outside. But Patrick Cowgill has been able to be a wonder at that, and it's always awesome to be able to watch him do his magic in these trucks. And if I see this correctly, it looks like Delgado did get past Fox on that undercut. We'll see if those tires pay dividends at the end of the stint, or if Fox is able to get up. And oh, here goes. Looks like Cody Matthews shuts the door on Delgado, trying to send it 3 wide going in through the front stretch.
Yeah, you can see that little moment of the panic where he swerved a little bit out of the way and try to calm down, not seeing how all these other guys are driving with 3 wide, not wanting to be a part of that.
Which Matthews is the current leader of the race, but still has not pitted, so the pit cycle has not been completed yet. As we see Grisby into the pits, which I'd be interested to see where Matthews ends up with Panzarella and the net leaders right now, not a lap down. So it'd be interesting to see if they end up putting Cody Matthews a lap down just to him staying out this long on these old tires. Run 32-second lap times, which is
It looks like him and Chris,
About
and both him and Chris Calgo have not pitted.
yes, Cody Matthews is running about 2 seconds slower than the net leaders right now after the pit cycle goes. It'll be interesting to see how long he takes this long run going for, or if he pulls it down here soon to try to negate the damage that's going to happen from him not pitting earlier.
Which
Well, it looks like
Sorry, go ahead.
Hillman and Sanchez are side by side catching up to Panzarella. Hillman's on the outside going through turn 1 and 2. See if he gets a run here.
Ooh, and it looks like Sanchez just barely beat him out.
It's barely, and pulls up in front of him to get that dirty air we've been talking about. But it doesn't look like Panzarella is able to catch Ybarra or Lois at the time. They've kind of, after this past stint, they have kind of become the class of the field with just how fast they are running.
Yes, he still has Patrick Calgo in between Panzarella and Ibarra for him to be able to catch up to them.
Which will be an interesting, see how Calgo deals with, or Panzarella deals with Calgo, and how Calgo, if he lets them by or not. They are teammates in another league. Be interesting to see if that plays over to helping him out, knowing that he's a lap down, or is he going to race Zach Panzarella and kind of hurt his catching up he needs to do.
I mean, I would imagine he'd be trying to giving him trouble since Panzarella is the points leader right now.
That's what I would expect too. Now I'm interested to see these lap times between Panzarella and the leaders. It does look like Panzarella is lapping about a 10th quicker at the moment. With Calgill lap car going on his inside here. Let's see what this does. If he's still too wide through 3, what Sanchez can do to catch up. Because him and Sanchez run about the same lap times at the moment. Sanchez on this stint has been put on a heater of a stint of tires. He has dropped Hillman in the dust. Now you do have Dalton Geyer coming up on Sanchez, which he did pit later, I believe, than some of the pack here.
Yeah, looks like Geyer pit 2 laps after Danny Sanchez. So he pit on 64, lap 64.
Interesting to see that line Panzarella's running. He is kind of running a hybrid of the low and high line, kind of diamonding it on the exit to get that wheel straight as soon as possible. Now it might help Zach Panzarella with Dalton Geyer behind Danny Sanchez, putting pressure on him. Here we go. Panzarella's catching up to Patrick Calgill now. Looked like Sanchez got a little loose, is giving Dalton Geyer a run out of the corner. It looks like Panzarella is going to sit on the inside. It doesn't look like Patrick's going to squeeze him much. It's going to hold him to that bottom, though. Not let him get that run all the way out to the wall. Panzarella really needs to get by Calgo here, because it is brought Danny Sanchez and Don Geyer on basically his bumper here. It does look like he got past him, but Sanchez riding Panzarella's draft, which is going to help him pull away from Calgill.
Then another interesting thing I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of guys were getting a little loose at the end coming out of the turns. Doesn't look like they're losing too many spots, unless of course they're hitting the wall. But you know, as we saw with Sanchez earlier, he got that little swerve, but he was still able to keep it in front of Geyer.
That is one of the nice things about these mile and a halves. A lot of them have that apron that you can, if you get loose, you can kind of catch it, keep your nose straight, and kind of just take that apron and keep that straight line speed than trying to cut back up the track or having to turn it right just to keep it on track. But it looks like Panzarella is kind of kicked another gear. He's kind of keeping that gap the same. Danny Sanchez.
Yeah, all these guys
Patrick Calgo is not giving Dalton Geyer as easy as a time past him, holding him to that bottom into one.
And then checking on the race leaders. Lola's coming up on Matthews here. So Matthews kept it out for the longest time, and it looks like he's in 11th place right now.
Let's see what Lois can do with this lap traffic. I know there's some words exchange on the radio about it, but let's see what he can do with Cody Matthews trying to get by him here. See if that slows him up any, where Panzarella and the rest of the top 5 can catch back up to him.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's thinking about earlier where he saw Panzarella and Geyer, both of them running side by side, and the pack was able to catch up to them quickly. If he's just going to stay behind Matthews now and try to use that draft to be able to propel him farther up. Because it looks like the gap is not getting any smaller. Panzarella is still behind by 3 seconds.
Now,
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Matthews does have fresher tires, so he should be able to keep up with the pace. So that would be
way fresher.
Yeah, that would if I was your Lois here, I'd kind of stay behind him, use his draft kind of like JR was saying here. Kind of use him as a kind of pull him up further away from Panzarella and the rest of the top 5. Because we saw how quick things can change when you have the whole top 5 all together. Blade could change very fast, or you could have what could end up being a kind of a mid to late race caution with somebody just making a slight mistake on these old tires.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Lolis is almost a little bit at the mercy of the pace of Cody Matthews here. Like Johnny Live was saying, oh boy, here he goes to the inside, looking to put him a lap down, and what a squeeze by Matthews.
Oh, contact.
Goodness.
What a save by Cody Matthews. He was almost 90 degrees to the inside of the track. I am sure some words will be exchanged.
You better hope those tires are not fresh enough to catch him back up. Oh, boy.
Oh, yes. I am sure some words will be exchanged in the trailers. Because that was a squeeze. And Lois got a little loose floating up on the track that got to Cody Matthews' left rear quarter panel that caused him to get sideways. Great move by Ybarra to avoid all of that and not really lose any time on Lois there.
Yeah, it looks
now,
like
Ybarra.
Go ahead.
Ybarra is somebody we haven't really talked about some of this race. He's kind of been sitting behind Lois this whole time. But he has had just as much pace as Lois has, if not sometimes more. Just being patient, pushing, I believe, his teammate.
Yeah.
As it looks like Cody Matthews there gave a little love tap to Ybarra, kind of repaying the favor of what happened before. Does manage to save it though, so we still will stay at this point of the race caution free. 88 laps into the race, this is very impressive at Kansas of how much side-by-side racing we've had.
Yeah, it almost feels like a repeat again of the exhibition race where same thing, ran caution free throughout the whole race. You know, something we haven't been able to keep up with lately, but I mean, it's given us some great battles.
Now here's an interesting, Matthews does get past Ybarra, which does slow him down. I think this is the biggest gap Ybarra's had to Lois since the second stint of these tires. Let's see if Matthews repays the favor to Lois here, because it looks like he is catching him rapidly going into turn 1.
Cue the Jaws music, boys.
Da-dum, 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 da. I think we started too early.
Here goes Matthews to the inside, flowing up a little bit. Lois does look like he lifts and just lets Matthews back by. I think that's the smart decision there. But it does look like Matthews was flowing up a little bit, could have gotten to his left rear quarter panel, and that would have been a terrible, terrible way for being almost to the last pit stop cycle, having to start from the back again with a caution and potentially going into a wall.
Yeah.
Now let's see if Lois here just uses Matthews as a kind of a drafting partner and pulls away from Ybarra and Panzarella, because it does look like Panzarella is slowly catching
Oh,
Ybarra. Oh,
so it looks like
Lois
there
to
was a
the
little bit
inside.
it looks like there was a little bit of contact on that rear bumper that caused him to swerve out of the way, and he's right
It-
on him.
Does not look like they are happy with each other, with the passes they've been throwing on each other.
That's
With Lois pushing him through the corner. That's one thing at these mile and a halves that can go very south very quickly.
Yeah, it's oh boy, look at this. It's so easy to
This-
break the #1 rule of stock car racing here if you're Lolis and oh boy, you
banging.
got a protest thing. Here comes the Ibarra's already here. That's how
Here.
much time this is costing Lolis.
Ybarra makes the pass on Lois on the front straightaway. Let's see how Ybarra handles Cody Matthews with them banging doors all the way down the front stretch and through 3 and 4.
and this
Lois
is giving
looks like
Panzarella a chance to catch up too. Now he's only 1 second behind both of them after that little stint.
Ybarra looks like he's being patient. Oh, maybe a little tap there. Dives to the inside.
I mean, it's one thing to get annoyed by a lapped car, but when you have a chance, or when you're in the chase, you're one of these championship drivers. Is that really a risk you want to be taking?
Ybarra got a bad run out of there. It looks like they're both getting frustrated, coming back and forth, trying to find a way past Cody Matthews.
I agree, though. I agree, Johnny. This is a priorities thing here. This is getting interesting.
With Panzarella and Danny Sanchez catching rapidly, this is about to become a 4-car battle for the lead. Coming up with 25 to go. This is going to be an interesting finish here. Looks like Matthews was able to pull away a little bit. Let's see if that sticks or not, and see if they can get back to clean racing. And see if Ybarra and Lois can pull back away from Panzarella and Sanchez. As Dalton Geyer. Oh, and they're going down in the pits. Danny Sanchez, Ybarra, and Lois down in the pits. Look at that pit entry. That was very smooth and very fast. I think that might be where the rest of the field is losing on them through the pit cycles. That was a very quick entry.
Yep, there it is. Nice to see in person to make sense of it all. And yeah, what this also shows me, guys, is that no one seems to like the undercut very much. Not doing a lot for these guys because it was available. It was available for 10 laps there, and no one wanted it. Maybe a couple of people saw what was going on with Matthews and Backpack and knew a caution or felt like a caution was coming out soon. But that tells me that everyone wants fresh tires for the shortest stint of this race, so they can really just go all out here.
Yeah, majority of the field hit around lap 60, and now we're more than 35 laps since that.
One thing I think also could be is, I think part of it could be is watching the Backpack guys just pull such a big lead on Panzarella on that last pit stop, trying to see if they can recreate that with that 1 lap difference on tires. I don't think so after watching that pit stop. They were just very smooth, basically perfection going into the pits. So I think that's where they gained all their time and be able to get out the pits fast.
Yeah, it looks like Panzarella's coming out of the pits too, followed by Geyer. And it's given...
We'll see if Panzarella can get in front of Sanchez here. He can get that drag race done. It's going to be close, though. Does not look like it, but he does have a teammate behind him to help him work back to the front of the pack with Dalton Geyer. And, man, we have seen them all season. Those two have been able to work together, push each other through the track, and get some amazing wins so far this season. Let's see if they can recreate that here at Kansas.
And check out who's in first place right now. Graham McGiver, driver from DDI.
Getting those extra bonus points for leading a lap. He is also one of our chase drivers, so that could play dividends here coming up with only 3 weeks to go after this race is concluded. Yeah. Looks like Hillman came out of the pits right there, right behind him. don't think his overcut planned out the way he wanted it to, since he pitted a couple laps after his teammates did.
Yeah, and then
But it looks like
go for it.
the gap to Lolis and Panzarella, what's that? 2, 3 seconds right there?
That's about 1.7 if I'm reading this right.
1.7. So let's see who pushes more here to catch up, or who saves more tires for the end of the race. With that lap completed, we have 21 to go, or 20 to go.
20 to go.
My bad. 20 to go here. So it might end up being a very interesting end of the race. With here goes your bar on Matthews again. Looks like he might have touched the bumper. Matthews still not very happy with how Matthews was racing him, going a lap down earlier in this, right before this pit cycle started. But it does look like Danny Sanchez is slowly catching up to those guys, and we could have a three-way battle for the lead here shortly. What do you think your bar's going through his head? Does he hope this is caution-free, or do you think he has the confidence on that short run pace that if he could throw another set of tires on, he'd be good?
Oh, I think with the way he's been racing, he has that confidence. He knows what he's able to do, and especially with his teammate Lolis behind him, these guys seem unstoppable right now. Unstoppable as long as they don't meet Cody Matthews again.
I can agree with you with that. I'm not sure what would happen there. That could be a terrible ending to their race there. Now, one thing I would be interested to see is Panzarella on the one start, the beginning of the race, had amazing short run speed. Got out in the front, got past Cowgill on the outside, and then kind of just pulled away from the pack and kind of stayed there until that pit cycle, which we've seen now why that happened. Those backpack guys have such a perfect pit entry. But I would be interested to see what Panzarella could do if he could get the field back up in a fresh set of rubber. I see they're passing another lap car. Looks like a little bit of a squeeze.
Yeah, they're coming up on Jordan Finnegan.
Jordan Finnegan shuts the door on your bar there on the inside. Oh! Finnegan spins out. Ybarra T-bones him. And hopefully that's not any damage for Ybarra. That could be devastating. Now we do have one fast repair, which might be a savior there. Because that looked like a pretty hard hit to his front diffuser.
Front caution is out. There it is right there. Caution is out. Man, we made it 105 laps, boys. But here we are with 15 to go, right? 16 to go. I'm sorry. So probably about a 13, 12 lap shootout to decide this thing. So now these guys have some decisions to make. You've spent a decent amount of time on these tires, at least 10 laps for the majority of the field. Probably driving pretty hard. Do you consider 2 tires here, or is this an obvious 4 tire situation?
I think it's 4 tires. Just how hard you're about to push, because I mean we're gonna have a 12-shot shootout. That 10 laps is that point where the tires start to wear. Now, one thing I am looking at on my standings is Cody Matthews. It's probably and Christopher Cowgill are probably the best. That was the best situation for both of them. Have gained tons of spots. Christopher Cowgill is going to inherit the lead from just waiting for that pit cycle.
As we see a bunch of guys coming in. Chris Cowgill, Ibarra, Lolis, Sanchez, Panzarella, Geyer, Hillman, Delgado, Fox. Everybody's bringing it in.
Whole top 10 end up bringing it in. Other than Matthews, which that is interesting because I don't remember him pitting. Will he have enough fuel to get to the end is the question.
So I'm looking
how is that tire difference going to be?
Yeah, that tire difference will be disgusting for Cody Matthews. I mean, granted, he hadn't brought it down. So, yeah, that's going to be horrible. I mean, that was a gift wrap for him and his teammate of Christopher Cowgill. You saw Cowgill put on 4 freshies. He'll come out supposedly with the lead. We'll see what Matthews does this time around. I guess he did get to lead a lap there. There's that.
And looking at the exiting of the pits, looks like Zach Panzarella does pass Danny Sanchez going
Oh, wow.
into exiting the pits. That is perfect for Panzarella with that short run speed. We'll see what he can do with this fresh rubber, and that should be starting on the outside, I believe.
For Panzarella and the inside, right?
Yeah.
It all depends on what Matthews does here, to see if there's a spot
Matthews
to be
pit.
gained or not. And there it is. So now it's the inside for Panzarella, it appears. Yeah. Or the outside, I'm sorry. That's going to move him to fourth. So that's going to be the outside for Panzarella here on this last restart. But Matthews, I think, maybe just missed it, a miscommunication. Maybe was still thinking about what had happened 20 laps previous. But regardless, only silver lining there for Matthews is he got to lead a lap. But missed opportunity there for the 10.
Yes, we're lining back
Now,
up
I
again.
think
We have. Oh, sorry, but we're lining back up. Go for it.
I think I heard on their team radio, Matthews thought he was still a lap down. So he was staying out to get the wave around.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, brutal situation for Cody Matthews. I would be confused as well. It's always confusing when those pit cycles happen, or I'm sorry, those cautions come mid-pit cycle, and I never get that same look as Chris Calgill, so I never get to really do that. So I don't really know what it's like.
I think we can remember, I believe from last week, the 08 of Hillman talked to him after the race, and didn't know he had an extra set of tires in the pit, so did not pit on one of the cautions.
Yep.
And inherited second place and got a couple laps left. But here we go. Pace car's in. Coming to green. Let's see if Christopher Calgill takes it early or takes it late. Looks like it's going to be late. Gets a good jump. Lolis is kind of stranded on the outside. Moves down low behind his teammate. Zach Panzarella on the outside of Danny Sanchez. We'll see if he can hold this place. Now, he does have a teammate of Dalton Geyer behind him, but he does have a teammate / championship rival on his inside. We'll see how that turns out. Weight of Hillman pushing Danny Sanchez down the straightaway. Looks like Hillman is going to get that position with Panzarella still holding that top line with Fox coming up. With Juan Delgado only 2 or 3 spots behind Fox. We'll see what Delgado could do here for the Best of the Rest championship also.
Oh, and you check out the front. We have Chris Calgill, Ibarra, and Lolis almost 3 wide onto the first turn.
Backpack Racing guys trying to gang up on Chris Calgill here. And don't forget, Calgill, he's a chase driver. This is a huge opportunity for the 03. But, man, they did such a good job boxing him in there on the inside. And that's one thing that has also stuck out to me, guys. What a unit the Backpack Racing guys have been working together today. They have not been greedy. They've drafted together. They've wanted to race amongst themselves. And this right here is why, as we go 3 wide into 1 and 2. Oh, into Ibarra!
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Lolis, yeah.
Now, here's an interesting thing. You have Hillman and Zach Panzarella now. They are championship rivals, but will they put that aside to get the team points? As Lolis gets to the back of the 08 of Hillman. 08 of Hillman blocks Tommy Fox also. That's an unfortunate situation. Unfortunate situation for Lolis. Let's see if he can recover with only 9 laps to go here.
Yeah,
as Panzarella gets to pass. Panzarella gets to pass by Christopher Calgill, Hillman side by side. See if Panzarella can catch back up to Ibarra here. Does have that teammate behind him. See if he'll be able to help push him to a better finishing position than 3rd place.
Yeah, Lolis dropping down to 10th from there, leaving Ibarra by himself up in the front. So he's not able to get that good push.
He's probably really hoping that Sanchez can haul off Panzarella here. He's got one more teammate, but he knows Sanchez wants that first win too. So this is when it gets interesting. 9 to go. Oh, we're not under caution anymore. Oh. We have to manually hide that. There we go. We're under green, as you can tell. But, man, here we go. Sanchez, Panzarella, and he's got to do this with enough time to have a shot at Ibarra as you see Sanchez loose at a 4 there.
Let's see what... Oh, wait, a helmet slides up behind Sanchez. Let's see what he does on this backstretch. See if he helps his teammate with a little bit of draft. Helping Panzarella just get that extra little bit of speed he needs with Sanchez side drafting him pretty heavily there. Looks like Hillman's going to try to stay behind. Also defend against Calgill. Looks like Yarborough has a commanding lead over this here, though. Looks like they are not catching, doing side-by-side battle. But here goes Juan Delgado on the inside of Tommy Fox, potentially in turn 1. Oh, it looks like he backs off a little bit. We'll see if he gets to run out of on the backstretch, though. Looks like he might get a better run. Let's see what Fox is defending that inside, though, which is, I believe, the better line on those fresh tires.
Oh, yes, but right now is the time where he needs to really push it to get that lead over Fox if he wants to keep swapping that 1 point back and forth between each other.
Yes, this is crucial for the Best of the Rest championship here, that Delgado gets past Tommy Fox here to try to buffer a little bit more of a lead for him, going only 3 races left.
And then
Panzarella does get the pass on Danny Sanchez. Let's see if he can hold that off for only 5, coming to 4 to go here.
5 to go.
Or 5 to go. My bad.
It's just such exciting racing that we forget what laps we're on.
It looks like they are catching Ibarra now. It looks like Sanchez is going to try to take his teammate, potentially try to steal the win away from him. Just not pressuring Panzarella, trying to pass him, kind of sitting behind him. Now, we do have a lap car of Cody Matthews, which I wonder what happened to him, since he did go in the pits to get those fresh tires.
And I'm sure that's exactly who Ibarra wants to see right now.
Oh, yes, that will be interesting if they catch up to him or not. But we're pretty single file. You do have Dalton Geyer trying to throw a pass on Juan Delgado on the outside. Looks like he might try to pull the crossover here. Doesn't look like he doesn't get the run there.
Yeah, a lot of single file racing right now. These guys are all trying to get the best line, all trying to make the best move, but when everybody has that same mindset, how frustrating can it be?
And it looks like the 08 of Hillman is pulling up on the back of Danny Sanchez a little bit. This might get interesting to see if we have a 4-car battle for the lead, if they can all catch up to Yarborough, which will be a difficult task. He has been good all day long, controlling the pace of this race.
Oh yeah, with the 2/10 lead over Panzarella right now, and Danny Sanchez right behind. Oh, as they get into the wall.
Sanchez in the wall. Gives him a slow slide. Here comes Hillman. And Tommy Fox. Fox has had an amazing race so far. You see if he can get past the 08 of Hillman and steal that 4th place finish away from him.
Oh yeah, way better than he was able to run last week with all that bad luck just piling up on him.
That was a rough race for him last week, but looks like the odds have turned in his favor, looking like it could potentially be a top 5 finish for Tommy Fox, which would be a great points finish for him today.
As we're on the final lap with Ibarra. You don't want to call it
And drag race.
Yeah. With Ibarra passing the finish line first. Oh, what a race.
And it looks like Panzarella was able to hold on to that 2nd place finish with the draft help of the 08 of Hillman against Sanchez. But man, what a race. Only 1 caution with, what was that, lap 90, I believe? 90 something? 105. But what a race. Very clean, very respectable. Great race.
As I got the results right up here with Brandon Ibarra taking the win today. Such great driving between him and Lolis, being able to help each other out throughout the whole race, and then with Lolis getting that unfortunate little push, was it right? Push at the end where it dropped him back down. He was able to still keep it. 2nd place, Zach Panzarella. 3rd place, Danny Sanchez. 4th, Alex Hillman. 5th, Tommy Fox. 6th, Chris Galgo. And then rounding up the first half of the race, 7th, Juan Delgado.
You got Dalton Geyer in 8th, Brandon Lowes in 9th, Graham McGibbon rounding out your top 10, Patrick Cowgill in 11th, Grisby in 12th, Jordan Finnegan in 13th, and Cody Matthews rounding out the end of the field. What a race! What were your thoughts,
It's
JR?
it's it's wild how it seemed like everybody was kind of keeping the same strategy, everybody pitting in around the same time, and then you have Cody Matthews being the one wanting to stay out there as long as possible. And for a cool while, it seemed like he was on a good path, since at the end everybody wanted to now pit as late as possible. But I mean, unfortunately, the way it happened, where Cody Matthews didn't end up a lap down and bottom of our leaderboard. Hopefully next week is better for him.
Yeah, that was a rough ending for Lowes there, but a great drive by your Barra. That is class of the field right there. And you have Zach Panzarella with a couple errors in the pit stops, but still managed to drive back and get second place, which will boost his standings over, I believe, Alex Hillman for the championship.
So let's bring up the points. So I'm going to tease you guys. I'm going to give you guys the championship points at the end. So we have our team points here. DDI Motorsports 44 Ever keeping the lead with 78 points. Backpack Racing right behind them with 72 points, only 6 points away. And SimWorld Motorsports just 2 points away from that second spot.
It looks like for the team standings, though, if Backpack Racing has another race like they did tonight, it would not be unfeasible for them to overtake 44 Ever DDI.
No, not at all.
Because they're only 47 points back with 3 races to go.
Yeah, and they won today by about 30 points, guys. Huge day for Backpack, and not even as big as it could have been, given what happened to Lolis there at the end.
So that might be an interesting final race at Homestead. See who takes home the championship for the team standings.
All right, we didn't do this one last week, so we're doing it this week. But the best of the rest. Here we go. Thomas Fox with 1 point again ahead of Juan Delgado. Both those guys just swapping points with each other. We know how the championship points difference are. I think this might be my favorite battle for this chase series.
It is definitely the most closest that we have at the moment, because Panzarella has basically a chokehold on the rest of the field with how consistent he is. But it is going to be an interesting last 3 races for Juan Delgado and Thomas Fox. Now, if Mark Zabak shows up, only 30 or is that 37 points? I believe I see. Points back.
37, yeah.
That is not an impossible task for him to come back and steal the best of the rest tournament from Juan Delgado and Tommy Fox. Nor for Jonathan Casabier if he makes a return.
Which we haven't seen most of these guys, have we? Mark Zabik, Jonathan Casabier, Colton Easterday, Zach Hillman, Dylan Beckman, and Dylan Schmidt. So these guys are just fighting for gold and silver right here.
That's basically what it is at the moment. But I'd be interested to see.
I agree with Hilltop too. You gotta hope Zabik doesn't show up, because that guy is lights out fast. He's been pretty consistent showing up. This has been the first week he's missed in a while, but yeah, I definitely mirror what Bullet was saying there. I'd be worried about Zab. That dude has been really fast all season, but right now, yeah, Tommy Fox and Delgado are putting on a show up there in that best of the rest.
That's what I'm saying. If Zabak shows back up, I would say he's my favorite to make a massive comeback for the best of the rest tournament.
All right, and last but not least, we have our chase points right here with Zach Panzarella keeping that lead, 58 points. Hillman right behind him, 15 points less than Panzarella. Dalton Geyer in 3rd, Patrick Cowgill in 4th. Who unfortunately did not have a good race today, so we'll see how that pans out next week.
Actually, looks like it's 38 from Hillman to Panzarella, 45 to Geyer, and number I cannot. These are confused. There's a lot of numbers here. And then Cowgill's rough day for Patrick Cowgill. He came in, I want to say somewhere around 40 back, and he's going to leave here 60 points from the championship.
Yeah, looking at these standings, Panzerella had a great day. Did exactly what he needed to do. Got that 13-point extra gap to Hillman. Because we came into this race only 20, or I think 25 points back. But Panzerella has a very high chance to not even have to show up for Miami. If he ekes out next two races, pulls out that gap, 10 more points, since the highest points you could get, I believe, is 53 points for the race. Be interesting to see how the chase ends up these last three races. Now, I do want to ask you guys, we are going to Old
Atlanta, baby.
Atlanta.
Old Atlanta.
Who is y'all's favorite for that race?
Oof. I like the backpack guys lately. They're looking like a bunch of Cody Gibsons. We all know that's where Cody Gibson came from. And oftentimes when you see someone like that, they what's the word? Instill their wisdom on the rest of their team. And man, those backpack guys getting faster every week, and they were really, really quick to begin with. And on top of that, it's just been kind of what we saw what happened to Lola today all season for that team. They really just need to come together. Then also, it's a low grip track over there at Old Atlanta. So I'm going to have my eye again on Patrick Calgill. We've seen him be so good at those low grip, flatter tracks. I'm thinking kind of like Michigan there. And then obviously Alex Hillman. I think Hillman is going to need a big day. He had that massive Watkins Glen race where he got the lion's share of points, and he's been the most consistent through the chase. And that is, again, a low grip track. And Hillman, who comes from that road course background, more comfortable with low grip racetracks than your average stock car racer, I would say. So those are the two I'm going to have my eye the most on next week.
I have to agree with you there. Now, one question I wanted to ask is, are we going to see an upset of Panzerella by the end of this chase or not? Will he be able to hold that lead? He does have a pretty sizable lead going into the final half of this chase, but will the pressure get to him or not? We'll have to see as the rest of this chase goes on.
Yeah, we've heard so many people talk about different formats, and this league obviously running a chase format instead of a championship race format or even a knockout format. And that really is, I guess, the beauty and the ugly of it at the same time, right? Panzerella is able to points race. Not that I don't think he's not going for wins, leading 49 laps today and coming up just short in second place. But he does have the luxury of being able to points race when other drivers have to be more aggressive. They have to do things that we've seen like Chris Calgill do, which is staying out on cautions to get that extra point and really just pick up those points in the chase wherever you can, which is a great strategy. But I think it's made it a little bit more crystal clear for that number 12 truck, able to just show up and do what he has to do, which today was get the fastest lap, lead the most laps, and win the stage. And that's where those extra points come from. I just noticed that start finish line. Cool shout out to Kyle Larson over there.
It's Panzerella has a great lead on this. The worst case scenario he could have, especially at a track like Old Atlanta, is getting involved in wrecks, being a little too aggressive. He can kind of go on cruise control here. If he can finish in the top, I would say top 7, probably. And as long as Hillman or Guy or Calgill doesn't get wins and wins the stage and gets fastest laps, he's got a pretty good hold on it. Now, personally, I believe it'd be a little more fun to have that Homestead race and not have kind of a Max Verstappen F1 win the championship a couple races before the actual final race. But I think it'll be a very interesting end of this chase because I know the last top 4 guys are really pushing. You can see it today with just the aggressiveness from Hillman has been a lot more than it has been all season. Aggressiveness from Geyer has been more. Patrick Calgill is just consistent as all get out all season. And be very interesting to watch the end of the season and how it goes.
the margin for error is at an all-time low right now. You really can't make a mistake. You saw Panzarella just ever so slightly miss his pit box. That cost him potentially the win today. I'm not sure if anyone had anything for Ibarra, but certainly cost him the lead. And then on top of that, Patrick Calgill just ever so slightly exits too early on the pits there, and that was enough to trigger a penalty for Calgill. And that effectively made him to where, like you just said, he has to be dominant to close out this chase to have a chance at it. So it really does bring out new sides of drivers. It brings out new levels of aggression. And it's really fun to see. I think us in the booth are enjoying it a ton. And it's only going to get better as the chase goes on and as we continue this league on. Guys like Ibarra, just short of the eligibility requirement to make the chase this season. But, man, you see how much speed that truck has.
It is going to be interesting if they choose to return next season and the next chase, who is going to be in that top 10 at the end of the regular season to see what we're looking at again. But that is a long way away, and all these drivers need to focus on these next 3 races that are in the chase and the best of the rest to try to bring home those trophies.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome way to close out this season. I'm super, super excited to watch it and see how this unfolds. But I believe, unless Johnny Live, you got anything else for us? I think that's all we got for everyone tonight. If you want me to sign everyone off and say goodnight. And first of all, amazing job, you two. That was very, very fun to watch. I enjoyed it.
Oh, we're trying our best here with what we got. Kind of
Yes,
seems weird not being on the replay side, being up here talking.
we had to legally change your last name. So, that just goes to show how dedicated we are up here in VRN. But yeah, I very, very much thank you guys. We are actually, I am the owner of Daily Drivers Inc., so I'm preparing for our upcoming car show, 805 Vibes, this weekend over in Oxnard, California. Check it out at 805carshow.com. Going to be a big car show. And I think we're going to have a little bit of something for everybody. We're going to have lowriders, tuner cars, classics, anything you could want. So that's what we'll be doing this Sunday over in Oxnard, California. But next Wednesday, like Bullet was just referring to, we'll be at Old Atlanta. I don't know who the booth will be. If you guys enjoyed them, maybe it'll be these two. But one thing we do know, it's going to be some intense and high-stakes DDIRL racing. But thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors, Daily Drivers Inc., KK Woodscapes, VRN, Chantilly Lace, Tuner Squad, everyone who makes this league possible, Salmon Amateur Stores as well. Congratulations to Brandon Ibarra on his first career DDIRL win. And wow, guys, 3 races here in the chase and 3 different winners. Who knows what's going to happen to close out the next 3. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you very much to Hillside Bullet. Oh, God, I'm not going to memorize that. And Johnny Live for putting on a great broadcast. From all of us here at VRN and DDIRL, we will see you